that position will be irrelevant against Vitaly Laletin.
It will be Vitaly's dream.
Yes, he would love it if he tried to do
Eat
that.
that up.
When
I
do
love
that,
it. I love it.
It's absurdly pathetic.
It's amusing, actually,
It is.
sometimes.
It's not a technical decision that it should be made ever. Tobias won't use that. And if he does try, he'll immediately bin it and regret it.
Yeah, Tobias can't afford to use that.
I don't think you'll make that error. Alrighty, man. We got another one.
We do have another one.
We got a left-hand match.
Yeah, we're talking about a left hand on your channel, right?
Oh, I might have to just cut this video and replace it.
I don't know. We're going to do it more often. You guys have it. We promised an hour-long podcast of Ryan v. Ray.
It's not this one. It's not this one. We are talking about two of the tallest, biggest, most imposing arm wrestlers in the world. We're talking about Russian Vitaly Laletin, the ice truck road driver, and Tobias Sporrong.
Tobias or Tobias?
I'm going with Tobias.
You're going with Tobias.
Tobias. I don't know which one it is. Let us know. Who's right, Tobias or Tobias? I think Tobias. Anyway, either way.
We'll say one, so like 50% will be correct, just...
Either way, this is a big match. This was requested for us to talk about because it's one of those matches that it isn't the marquee match. No. It's not the one that's getting all of the fans' attention, but it should be because it is elite against elite.
They're mega. It's hard to find many people better on the planet left-handed than those two individuals.
Yeah. Is Vitaly Laletin actually left-handed? I suspect Tobias Sporrong may be as well. I think they are left-handed, aren't
they? I believe so. There's a good chance if you're a super heavyweight arm wrestler from Europe, you're left-handed.
What's the deal with that?
I don't know. But most of the elite seem to be left-handed. You've got Andre, you've got Dennis, you've got supposedly Levan, Vitaly,
all these guys.
Everyone's left-handed.
All these poor guys that wish the people cared about left as much as right. But anyway, this is happening, and it is a big match. A lot of people don't realise how good Tobias Sporrong
you're breaking already.
He has emerged in the last, let's just say 12 months, as a far more credible threat to the top guys than we'd previously assumed. I saw him for the first time in 2019 at the Laletin.
Yep.
And I remember he shocked the room when he pulled Dmitry Salayev and he busted his wrist back. And everyone went, what are we doing? What? Who's this? Because he was young. He was a new kid on the block, and he busted his wrist back, Dmitry Salayev's wrist back. And from that moment on, we all knew Tobias Sporrong was the real deal.
Yeah. And then, of course, Tobias got introduced to, I guess, more mainstream fans when it came to East vs. West with an incredibly impressive showing against both Morozov and Prunik.
The Prunik one came first, didn't it? I think it did.
Probably did.
The Prunik one came first, and I remember thinking, this is Prunik's match. Prunik's a killer. He's going to be fine. Yeah, but we'll get into that specifically. But he shocked the world there, and then he got teed up against Morozov, and in a lot of respects shocked the world there as well. But the man he's facing has a unique set of tools that could be a problem because Tobias Sporrong is a out-of-straps top-roll specialist. I think we can call him that.
Yep. Yeah. We can absolutely call him that.
And he's facing the tallest man in arm wrestling.
Who is?
Vitaly Laletin at 6'7", 6'7", I think. I'm gonna go on record as saying. I'm guessing, but I'm certain he's the tallest.
Yeah.
I've met him, and it's a long way up there. That's all I'll say.
He's definitely taller than Tobias.
Yeah. But Tobias is not a small man. I think he's probably 6'5" or something like that.
He's massive. He's massive. Yeah.
But Vitaly Laletin, the tallest of arm wrestlers and a specialist top roller as well, with an outstanding record, both left and right. Notable matches for him. Most recently,
Zao Palav.
Yes.
Right? Well, it was 6 months ago?
He flashed him.
Yeah. Contained him, binned him.
Yep. Okay, so and he's done well against Levan Sagnashvili. He's looked close. If we go back to his Laletin days, 2019, he was very close. He was taking center, and it was only through eventual back pressure from Levan and control the wrist in time that he got that win. But these guys here, realistically fighting for perhaps the number one contender rank to the left arm. Right
Yeah, absolutely. And both of them, we mentioned, Tobias, outer straps, top roll specialist. Vitaly, also an outer straps, top roll specialist. Funnily enough, it will probably go to straps. Because they're both top rollers. But they may both hold on, so we'll see.
I think that Laletin is less likely to hold on than Tobias. I think Tobias, being the shorter man with a slightly shorter arm, he's going to have more pressure to pin early in the strap. Do you think he's going to hold on to Laletin's fingers and just not let him go and say, what are you going to do? Because there's a realistic possibility of Laletin dumping for a slip, having his fingers caught by Tobias, and then being stuck in this, I can't do anything. I can't get out without fouling, and I can't pin.
Yeah, well, interestingly, looking at Tobias' recent matches, he forces people to hold on to him. It's how he gets a lot of his outer straps victory, is people are holding on to him. Now, this wasn't the case against Prunik. Prunik trying to go to straps, and Tobias just holds on and rips into the pad.
Let's have a look at that match, actually. Tobias Sporrong and Prunik. Because the top rolling display here, particularly round one for me, was phenomenal from Tobias.
You can actually switching between the two pronunciations, right?
Yeah.
Now, Tobias was awesome in this match. Now, let's look at Tobias.
He's got an alternate personality. When he competes, he's Tobias. When he's off the table, he's Tobias. But here he is.
Yep.
Watch this against Prunik. This is round one. Prunik goes to hold on, and look at the beautiful wrist position that totally blocks Prunik's ability to get any down pressure. And then there's no escape for Prunik after that. And then Tobias applies the side pressure, isolates the arm, and gets the job done. And Evgeny Prunik walks away from that one going, too good, well done. Like, perfectly played. Perfectly played.
Perfectly placed and timed from Tobias there as well. He does a large pronated back pressure defense, but keeps his wrist fully flexed. Once he has his pronation secure, surges to the side, and as you say, completely traps Prunik.
I love the way he leaves his forearm vertical whilst dropping his wrist so aggressively. That vertical forearm really is the main defense against down pressure. But the wrist mobility that he has to drop the wrist that low, which allows him to keep control and prevent the escape of Prunik, really impressive stuff. Like, perfect top rolling outside of strap there. It was amazing. And then by round two, Prunik was having to make decisions about, all right, what does this mean? And Prunik tries to escape. He's like, I need to get the straps. And Tobias just says...
I think Tobias feels that threat and it's like, not today. I'm going to hit you from center. I'm going to hold on. And I'm going to show you who the better top roller is.
Yeah, let's have a look at it now. So you can see them closing their hands. And watch for the attempted escape from Prunik. But Tobias just straight side clamps on the thumb and isolates him and 2-0.
And you'll see a classic mistake almost there from Prunik going completely backwards into a tall arm top roller.
That's the worst way to lose in arm wrestling. Aiming for a slip and not getting it and being completely derailed. It feels terrible. It feels genuinely terrible when somebody does that to you, and it's just like, oh my goodness, please let me do that one again. But round three comes along and he does attempt to do that one again. And what do we get? We get more of the same brilliance. This time, Prunik again looking for a little bit of forward pressure, but that beautiful control and defense. Prunik going all in on the side pressure. We can see the hand and wrist has been isolated. Tobias gets over the top of that wrist, allows him to impart the side pressure. Prunik gives it everything he's got, but it's not enough. Can't get the straps, can't slip, can't stop him. 3-0 Tobias Sporrong.
And what's so beautiful about that from Tobias is just the control. You don't see him bailing on pronation and being so intimidated of Prunik's inside that he loses his wrist flexion and control. He comes down, he surges, he's connected to his arm, he controls. He takes everything off Prunik. He takes his pronation away, he takes his wrist away, and then he takes his arm away. So absolutely beautiful arm wrestling, especially out of straps from Tobias.
But the key thing is he did that against a man that wasn't taller than him.
Yeah.
What happens when he's doing it, attempting to do it against a man like Vitaly Laletin?
Well, we may not know against a man like Vitaly Laletin, but we can check what he does against someone who's tall. His match with Morozov.
That's right.
So we can pull that one up because we know how
he pulls Morozov. That's
Yeah.
right. Tobias, Sporrong, and Morozov. Thank you for reminding me. There. Gee whiz. This is a match. So Morozov, ladies and gentlemen, if you're unaware, is the current number 1 ranked left arm wrestler in the world.
Yeah.
So Tobias Sporrong has been this high before that he's had a crack at the title. Let's have a look at it because this was a match where round 1, you can watch Morozov on the right-hand side there, just contains the pronation, forces him inside, and looks like it's going to be a one-way traffic and it's not going to be close.
And you can see Morozov getting everything he wanted in that setup, initiating very, very well. But then we have round 2 from Tobias, which I think surprised a lot of people.
And there's the beautiful initiation from Tobias. Look at the wrist goes way back on Morozov. So it was that same thing that we saw against Prunik, that wonderful wrist control with the vertical forearm. It just busts him back, and they get to the straps, and it goes Morozov's way, who's got more power. That strap secures him, and he does contain the pronation and isolate the bicep of Sporrong and drag him down to the table. But outside of straps, we have to say it was impressive. Now, even though it's 2-0, round 3, much the same, Tobias Sporrong, watch for brilliant top rolling, actually gets a pin. Look at that. Beautiful
Flash
stuff.
pins Morozov out of straps, rips to his wrist. Like, I've never seen someone's wrist
Yeah.
go back further than Morozov's does.
And Morozov is a big guy. He's a tall guy with hugely strong wrist flexion, hugely strong back pressure. But Morozov unable to secure center against the static pressures that Sporrong presented. Now, the match goes on, and Morozov ends up forcing the hook and winning 3-1. But we learned a lot about Sporrong there. We really did. It's impressive, isn't it?
We have to say that man's threat out of straps and his ability to time and place his hit perfectly is phenomenal. We saw in that last round, Morozov was able to take a slightly deeper grip, get a little bit more around the pronation, initiate a little bit faster, and get Tobias out of his groove. But when Tobias is in his groove, it's phenomenal. However,
Vitaly Laletin.
Laletin, taller, with a pronated threat rather than a wrist flexion threat.
Yeah.
What an out of straps top roller loves is someone holding on to him. And that's exactly what Morozov was doing. I don't think Vitaly's main threat's going to be, I'm going to cut down your pronator. I think Vitaly's main threat is, I'm going to out back pressure you. I'm taller. I can get higher.
Is he going to drag and roll? Is Vitaly going to drag and roll, or is he going to post and roll?
He almost should post. Just that little bit. Go for height before securing drag. Disengage Tobias with that high ground.
Well, let's have a look at the way that Vitaly Laletin defeated Zauer, because that's his most recent left arm match that we have.
And it looks strikingly similar to the flash pin that Tobias got on Prunik in round 2 of their match as well, which just makes this matchup so interesting.
All right, so left-hand match here. Outside of straps, you can see that Laletin is trusting his static pressures. He just isolates the hand of Zauer very, very efficiently, wins the high ground, takes his wrist, adds side pressure, and it's over. Simple as that. Not even close. Zauer, we know, has been in the conversation for a potential threat to Levant.
On the right hand.
On the right hand, but still, he's not a weak guy on the left.
Yeah.
It's an interesting one, because when top rollers take on other top rollers, it ends in a wrist battle. It ends with the endurance fight up there. It can be very unique as well. Do either of these guys possess a flop press is a question that often needs to be that often causes the victory for one person or the other when the top roll battle is balanced.
See, I haven't seen it.
But if you had to guess who's got one, who would you guess has got one more?
I'd hope they both do. I'd hope that's something in their arsenal. But what we see with Tobias, he's got a well-conditioned cupped and pronated press, but I haven't seen a flop press. I haven't seen him on the A side without some form of hand control.
My gut feel is that Tobias has the press, the flop press. Just by the way he's built, I feel like he's better served than that. Vitaly looks like he's an all-in-all outside puller. I don't see Vitaly... Like, if we think back to Vitaly's amazing match with Dave Chafee, right arm, potentially the greatest arm wrestling super match of all time, it was Dave who ended up flop pressing, and it was Vitaly desperately looking to just hold on. There was never a commitment from him forward. I don't think it is in Vitaly's game.
I'm not sure it'd be a wise move as well if just visualizing Vitaly coming forward with a press, potentially giving Tobias just more pronation and back pressure integrity than if he was going back, and that connected Tobias is so much.
It'd have to be outside the wrist. A press outside of the wrist, sure, that works.
Oh, they've both got that in spades, and we know that's essential to any top roller's arsenal, is to be able to take control of your wrist and bring the shoulder forward from there. So I've got no doubt both men can do that brilliantly.
So really what's going to determine this match is who wins the high ground, ultimately.
Who wins the high ground? We see Tobias is pretty quick.
Yeah.
He looked very fast against Prunik.
Yeah.
And by that, I mean they looked at approximately the same speed, if not Tobias a little bit faster, and we know how fast Prunik is.
Well, one thing that is not going to work for Tobias that we've seen in those matches that we analysed is that vertical forearm dropped wrist defence. That works so well because he's taller than his opponents and they can't go sideways against it. That position will be irrelevant against Vitaly Laletin.
It will be Vitaly's dream.
Yes, he would love it if he tried to do
Eat that up.
Like me trying to top roll you when I do that.
I love it.
It's absurdly pathetic. if I try that.
It's amusing, actually.
It is.
Sometimes
it's not a technical decision that it should be made ever.
You can definitely top roll me, but you have to take A side.
Yeah, I have to take A side, and you have to take it with high knuckle pressure.
Yeah.
And take center that way. But that drop defense, like I love using that against people like Lachlan Adair. Shorter arm than me, it actually gains purchase. But against someone like yourself, man, no. So Tobias won't use that, and if he does try, he'll immediately bin it and regret it.
Yeah, Tobias can't afford to use that.
I don't think he'll make that error.
Yeah,
he'll know what he's up against, and he's going to have to. Let's be realistic. He's going to have to keep his knuckles high, and he's going to have to really have strong clamping fingers, and he's going to have to try to get back pressure. He's going to try to almost drag a little down to open up the bicep of Vitaly.
After having those dropped knuckles as your ace for so long, do you think he's going to have a sufficient knuckle up threat to disable Vitaly?
No, I say that only because as you said, you get comfortable, or as you implied, you get comfortable in your style, particularly when you are very used to being the tall guy. When you come across that anomaly that makes you the short guy, it's not your familiar lane. And I think that it's something that we may see. In Tobias's case. I liken that to my history with Jordan Davis, for instance. Jordan Davis was behind me as an arm wrestler, started after me, and surpassed me in the top roll v top roll sense. And I remember the transition happening where it was like, what the heck, why can't I top roll anymore? And it was for the same reasons why you take me when I top roll. But it forced me to learn to knuckles up and arm wrestle from the base of my palm almost.
And it's a style that I've never seen Tobias have to pull in. And this is what concerns me for Tobias. It's not, are they a similar caliber? Absolutely. They're both top tier left arm. Put them against potentially other left-handers, and Tobias may even have a better shot than Vitaly against a number of them. But stylistically, this is a very, very tough ask. And this is a very difficult match. So
yeah, for Tobias to win this one, we're going to have to see something new from him. And I suspect he has it, but given the lack of familiarity, the lack of practice in high-level competition, you have to say Vitaly's the favourite, don't you?
Yeah. You have to say Vitaly's the favourite. And just being that taller, low-hand top roller comes with...
I hate those types. Those taller, low-hand top rollers. Yeah, they are in fact my most hated style of arm wrestler to pull. I hate it.
It's funny. You got so much practice against it. I don't know why you're not all over it.
Give
by
me a
now.
short hooker, please, any day. That's what I prefer.
I'll keep that in mind, Ryan.
Oh, my goodness. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, it is coming up. East vs. West 7, not far away. Grab your pay-per-view. It's going to be an amazing one. Vitaly, Laletin, Tobias, Sporrong, and it's definitely Tobias. The pronunciation, that is. Not my prediction. It's definitely Tobias. I don't know. Tobias, let us know in the chat. If you see this video, mate, let us know. Did either of us get it right? Did we both get it wrong?
We mangle your name.
Yeah. It must be frustrating for people like Tobias that look, who's to say that we even got Vitaly Laletin right? We just assumed
We probably didn't.
It's probably
It's just been said enough that it's accepted at this point. I think
it gets like that where people stop fighting it. But anyway, ladies and gents, it's coming up. Let us know in the chat where you think this match is going to go. Who do you want to win? Who do you think will win? All those sorts of stuff. Anyway, guys, see you next time.